shocking truth. Did you know that Africa is way bigger than they show us on the map? Many of us that did geography in the school. Do you know that Africa is big? I'm going to show you some evidence. Okay, these were the old ways. Okay, if I told you that Africa is as big as China, US, India, Japan, and most European countries put together. So what does that mean? Let's assume you bring a bucket or a big bowl and you take America, throw inside, take China, put inside, take India, put inside, take Japan, put inside, take some European country, put inside. There'll still be space. That's how big. Then why did they give us for many years? Why do we believe that even when they were listing big continents, Africa didn't come first three? Why? Perception. These things were done over 200 years ago. When they gave us those of us that did geography in school, the Mercator Project map, most common map that explained it. If you know when they enlarged European and American countries and shrunk Africa and South America and made us look like we are very small countries. Okay? Now, actually, let me tell you, the size of Africa is actually 30.3 million square kilometers. Meanwhile, what they gave us before was, I think it was between 15 and 18 million square kilometers. All right? So go and check what American land size, check Japan's land size, check the other people's land size. Okay? Now, like I said before, Africa can fit in America, fit in China, fit in India, fit in Japan into the place. And most of you into exactly. Exactly. For example, Nigeria is bigger than a lot of European countries. Yes. Kenya is bigger than a lot of European countries. Ghana is bigger than a lot of European countries. But go and check your map. They were spread while the African country, they shrunk them. Okay? Another example, there's a place called Greenland. I think it's between America and Canada. That place on the map, they made it look almost the size of Africa. How can Greenland be the size of Africa? Please take your map now and go and check. But guess what? Africa is 14 times the size of Greenland. So you ask yourself, who did this? Who did this manipulation? And for what reason? And some countries and schools in Africa are still using this to train their children. And train their school kids. Are still, until a group of geographers came out and disputed this, we wouldn't have found out. I'll tell you some of the reasons. There's a historical bias. Why things were. I was asking, why was it done? Number one is historical bias. Is the person that wrote the story that will write to favor himself. So the Europeans wrote the map. You don't expect them to cheat themselves. At least the best they can be honest. Okay? Don't make us feel small. We're very small. We're not small. That's number one. Historical bias. Keeping us Africa small and making Europe and America look big and more powerful is a psychological thing that helps them believe in themselves and us not believe in ourselves. Okay? Now, psychological. It makes Africa seem less important in the scheme of things in the world. Yes, it's a small continent. They don't matter. So that's the psychological part. And many of us have been feeling like that we're less important in the world. Okay? The third one is the educational system. That was how they penetrated it. One of the ways we shape the worldview. Education shapes the worldview. Imagine you've been taught a particular thing all your life. That's what they've been teaching us. That Africa is small. It's not even among the 3 biggest continents. All right? Now, why does it matter? Some people say, does it matter? It matters. It matters. Minds and politics. Okay? They treat Africa like a small country. So what happens? Business and investments. Okay? They underestimate Africa's potential. There are some investment decisions that have to be made or things that have to do. They say, where do we situate these things like this? They don't come to Africa because they believe that you are not big enough. Now, African themselves many times see themselves as smaller countries, which invest our leaders, our knucklehead leaders. Sorry to use the word, many of our leaders are knucklehead. That's why you see them saying we are going to meet the big countries, the first world country. Who defines somebody as a first world? And who says you're a third world? Did you name yourself third world? Okay, you're not developed, so you chose to be a third world. And you address yourself as a third world. That's a story of another day we'll talk about. So even the leaders are part of the problem. So what does this do? It makes the leaders, the citizens lack ambition. So what do? We all face to go to a first world country. You can see how gradually you're made to feel less of yourself. So, but there's a way Africa can reclaim the narrative, okay? Africans must first believe that Africa is Africa, we're Africa first. Our size is huge and it's power. Okay, first believe that the Africa our size is huge and its power. Second one, that we have the biggest land. That Africa has the biggest land in the world. Okay, that we have the biggest resources in the world, natural resources, coal, oil, lithium, cocoa. You just name all the natural resources Africa has. So when you then we have the highest number of human resources, land, mineral resources, and humans, the potential. So I want you guys to go and Google. There's something called the Gal Paper Project. Okay, those are the people, not the Mercator Project map is the old one. There's a Gal Paper Project, the one that reviewed it and said, look, Africa is bigger than what you do. So Google it, GAL Paper Project. You see it come out on your system. They are the ones that discovered that. Like, look, some neutral bodies in Africa. They're look, you know what? Africa is actually bigger than what you guys put us as. So you can't say that Africa is so I want to ask you, do you think it was an intentional plan to put Africa down, make them not believe in self? Okay. So I just or do you think it was an error or it was a state of mind of people then? So I just on the final note, I just want us to believe as Africa is not small, Africa is not weak, Africa is not just doing what they should do. And Africa is a giant ready to take over itself and to take over the world. So, Africa, the world is waiting for you, Africa. You're the biggest continent in the world and you should lead in the world. So, I'm calling on African countries. Behave yourself, take charge, do what you're supposed to do, and the world will respect you. Nobody will respect you if you don't respect yourself. We cannot keep dusting our passports and running over there. When are we going to make them run to this side? Somebody once made a joke that the way we are running over there so much that Europeans will say, okay, you know what? Since you love America more, give us Africa. Let us, you all of you, go to Europe and stay. And he said about 25, 50 years later, we are going to be running back to Africa to come and do it. But I refuse to believe that. That's not our truth. That's not our projection. There are still some great minds in Africa. Long live Africa. Have a beautiful day. Stay blessed. My name is Sam. Bye.